My son quit med school for a film career. I kicked him out, and now he's thriving. While I wonder if I made the right call, my son called me a week ago to tell me that he'll be coming back home for the weekend. Usually he calls his mom to inform or just drops by without any warning. So I was quite surprised when I received his call. Actually, we don't even talk that much. I think after he grew up and went to high school, our conversations became rare and customary. I still remember the last time we had a heart-to-heart was when he got into med school. I was really proud of him for achieving something so difficult. I did think in his second year of high school, when he was mixed with the shady crowd and was too focused on his clubs to study, that he might not be able to get into a decent college. But he proved me wrong, and I was never as happy to be wrong as I was that time. That was 2 years ago, and if I remember correctly, it was the last time I properly sat down with my son and discussed things about his life. Although calling it a discussion would be too much, since I just asked him about his plans and he gave me monosyllabic answers. And maybe that's why his call to me to tell me that he's coming home for the weekend was that surprising. But before he hung up, he asked me for a favor. He said that he had something to tell me and asked if I could ask everyone to be at home for Saturday night instead of going out. I told him I'll relay his message, but there was no guarantee, because not even I could hold back a 17-year-old girl, that is his younger sister and my only daughter, from going out on a Saturday night during summer break. So as planned, I told everyone to stay at home and even convinced my daughter to drop her plans. So yesterday we all had dinner together and everyone waited patiently to hear what my son had to say. As is his nature, he isn't very vocal about his life, and even my wife and my daughter were curious about his big news. After we all ate, I finally lost my patience and asked what he wanted to tell us all. Taking a deep breath, he took some time to collect himself and then started by saying that he is sorry about what he's going to do. I was about to interrupt him to ask what he was sorry about, but my wife stopped me. I realized that it's better to keep my questions to myself until he's done. He went on to tell us how he had lived all his life just to please us. He said that in high school his happiest year was the sophomore year, when he was a part of the media club, and he really enjoyed working on all sorts of projects, whether it was editing a short video or working in a team to produce something. He said that even something as boring as translation made him feel like his day was worth something. But because we, as his parents, always wanted him to have a stable job, pushed him to opt for a professional field that would guarantee a monthly paycheck. And that's why he studied so hard to go to med school, even though it wasn't fun. He said that for a while it was working out, because keeping up with his courses alone was exhausting enough for him to fall asleep as soon as he hit the bed, but he didn't realize how he was slowly falling into a slump. He said that he had been struggling with depression for a while now, and if he continues with his current course, he knows that he'll end up either flunking or just wasting his life. As shocked as I was to hear my son talk about how hard it's been for him, nothing could have prepared me for what he said next. He went on to say that the reason he wanted to meet all of us was because he came to the decision of quitting med school and is going to submit his withdrawal application soon. He just wanted to let us know before he does that. He said that he'll take a gap year while he figures out what he wants to do with his life. Now, I'm not a bad father. I know that he didn't lie when he said he was struggling a lot. But to come to such a big decision just because he was feeling depressed wasn't the best way to solve his problem. I was sure he hadn't thought about what it actually means to drop out. Med school isn't cheap by any means. And the student loans alone will cost him half his life even after I help him out. And he isn't even going to have a career. Everyone gets depressed from time to time. That's unavoidable. But to do something so drastic over it was just insane. So I told him all of this. I asked him to think again, and if he needs help we can always look for a doctor that could help him. But he said he knows what he's doing now, and he isn't going to pretend anymore that he likes dealing with needles or holding people's lives in his hands. And that's what made me angry. He just came here to announce what he was going to do and not listen to any of our advice. I asked him one more time if his decision was final, and when he said that there's no changing his mind, I also made up my mind. I told him that if he's set on wasting the money that we could have used on his sister's education, then I'd have no choice but to kick him out. I don't need any son that is going to give up on an amazing life just to go make films. I did everything in my power to keep him happy and provide for him all his life, and this is how he's going to show his ungratefulness. It was just disappointing. My wife tried to stop me and butt in between us, telling him that I don't really mean what I was saying, but I told him to pack his stuff and go before I forcefully threw him out. Now, am I the a-hole here for doing this to my son when he doesn't even understand what the consequences of his actions could be? Life isn't a drama that you could just drop everything to pursue a goal you don't even know about. Hopefully being on the streets will teach him a lesson to appreciate the things he has. Update 1. I read through the comments under my original post, and I must say that I don't really agree with most people here. I'm just doing what I should do as a father so that he learns important lessons in his life. As someone who depends on paychecks to take care of monthly bills, I have a very high appreciation for how hard it is to survive in this world. If my son actually does as he pleases, he wouldn't even have a job. He'll just be a college dropout all his life without a degree, and the career he was dreaming of isn't as easy as he thinks. I don't have the power or resources to support him if he decides to pursue something in the entertainment industry, and as a parent, nobody would like their children making a choice that could ruin their whole life. It's better for me to be cruel now so that he could live a better life in future. Update 2. It's been 2 weeks since I posted my original post here, and I got a call from my son today. I thought he was calling to tell me that he had changed his mind after being kicked out and is ready to come back to the family, but that bastard just called me to inform me that he had submitted his withdrawal application and that he'll return all the money I invested in him. He said that even though I am not willing to support him when he finally wants to do something that makes him happy, he still thinks it's right to inform me that he stood on his final decision and that I shouldn't worry too much about the money. Then he hung up. Did he really expect me to commend him for what he did? That fool did whatever he wanted even after I kicked him out. And now there's no way to undo the damage he has done to his life. What was his plan? Is he going to join an arts college now? And where will he get the loans from? Or does he plan to just work as a part-timer at some diner to pay his bills? I don't know what to do now. If he really wants to live his life on the streets, then he can be my guest. I just hope this doesn't leave a bad impression on his sister. Update 3. About a year ago I posted about how I kicked out my son when he decided to quit med school and go into the entertainment industry. I haven't talked to him in a year, but I still try to keep tabs on him. I know for a fact that my wife used to talk to him every 10 or so days. She even passed on some money to him, so I guess he wasn't really starving. She tried to convince me to let him back into the house, but I'd much rather he stays on the streets than to come back and influence his sister in a bad way. And now I found out that he's joined a technical crew for a short indie film and is working in Vancouver. I have no idea how he managed to fly out of the country, but somehow he did, and I don't know whether to be angry that he still hadn't come to his senses or just be happy that he's surviving. Update 4. Yesterday I received a call from my son. I wasn't really expecting him to call me after so many months of not talking to each other. I guess my wife must have forced him to initiate the contact. Either way, I was actually happy to hear his voice. He told me that he's staying in New York currently and is part of an agency that provides crews whenever a shooting needs additional staff. I asked him if he really wants to stick to the decision he made almost 2 years ago, and all he said was that he's happier now even though he doesn't have a college degree. He said that he's actually working hard to apply for a scholarship at NYU and learn filmography there. He said that he's serious about this line, and even if he ends up with nothing, at least he wouldn't have any regrets. I didn't know what to say to him because I did everything to change his decision, yet here we are. After a while it got awkward between us and I hung up saying that I had to go to sleep. I'm actually thinking about our conversation and maybe I should meet him halfway and try to accept him as he is. My 27 female husband, 29 male, is a very avid road cyclist. He's in a local club that goes on rides every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday after work, not getting home until about 8:30. He also rides at least one weekend morning from about 8 a.m. until 1 to 3 p.m.-ish, sometimes both Saturday and Sunday. I've been very supportive of this hobby and I love how much he loves it, but we have had discussions about how much time of his it takes, and I have expressed that I feel like I barely see him through the week and get lonely. But he has emphasized how he can't miss club rides because he doesn't want to get slower. He's the best he's ever been right now, and he hates sitting at home doing nothing, which is what I tend to do on weeknights. A couple weeks ago my mom invited all our extended family for a pool party today at their house. I don't get to see some members on my side of the family very often, so I was pretty excited. A couple hours in, he mentions to me that he heard of a bike ride tomorrow morning he would like to go on, but it starts early in the AM, so could we please not stay late so he can get up early and go? I said that I really didn't want to set a time limit on visiting tonight, but I wasn't planning on staying late. Then my sister came to me asking if she could get a ride back with us. She lives in our town, so she can stay longer and then bother in-law can take their toddler back to bed. We told her yes. Shortly after, dear husband asked me if he could just hitch a ride back with brother-in-law, and I drove my sister back. Here is where I might be the a-hole, but at this point I was a little buzzed after 2 to 3 drinks and planned to have another drink and not have to drive back. I told him this, and it wasn't fair to spring on me and my sister after already agreeing to drive us back. My sister had a couple drinks too. He agreed to stay if we leave at 9 so that we'd get home at 10 o'clock for his 7 a.m. ride. I agreed, and 8:55 p.m. rolls around. I went inside to say bye to my mom and realized the kitchen is a wreck. My mom has been working hard hosting the whole party, so I quickly bust a move to help clean the kitchen of all the party food. Finished that about 9:25, dear husband helped too, but then we realized our car was blocked in by other people. By the time other got to moving cars and we say our goodbyes again, it's 10 p.m. My sister decided to stay the night at my parents' house, so it was just me and husband for the hour drive back, and once we hit the road it was clear he was pissed. I apologized for staying past 9, it just kind of happened. But he insisted I was being inconsiderate on purpose and not caring about the fact that he'll be going to bed late tonight and has to get up very early, and I should have let him leave early. This sparked my anger. I told him he goes on bike rides all the time and we had these plans for weeks. So Reddit, what's our verdict here? So I, 26 female, have been with my current boyfriend, 35 male, for 4 months. Here is the issue, I have some little quirks as most of us do. This post is about my obsession, his word not mine, about brushing my teeth/oral hygiene. Let me preface it by saying that I don't like to brush my teeth raw or brush more than is recommended. Just your typical morning, after lunch, yes I have a toothbrush in my office but I have a private restroom, and before bed. The only exception being when I'm having a sleepover with a partner I will get up before them and brush my teeth and come back to bed. I mean, knowing that there is an almost guarantee morning activities will be happening, I like feeling fresh and clean. I have been teased about it playfully in the past with other partners but no one has ever taken issue with it. Honestly I am sure some past partners have appreciated it, morning breath isn't super sexy. Now here is the issue where I may be the a-hole. This weekend I slept over at my boyfriend's place and Sunday when I woke up and went to brush my teeth while he was still sleeping my toothbrush was missing from the bathroom. I knew for a fact I had brushed my teeth before bed, and so I went through my toiletries bag over and over. I checked the trash to see if it accidentally got tossed, and nope. I was freaking out a bit but I improvised using toothpaste on my finger to brush my teeth and rinsed with mouthwash. So I go back to bed, and cuddle up until he wakes like an hour later. My boyfriend kisses me and pulls away like something is wrong. He remarks that I am minty. I said yeah and explain how I somehow stupidly misplaced my toothbrush and had to improvise. He then tells me no, that I in fact didn't lose my TB, that he hid it. 2. Teach me a lesson. He then goes on saying he was making a point about how brushing my teeth first thing habit wasn't normal and even used the term OCD. I was so upset. First, OCD is a legit disorder and you can't just go around diagnosing people or slapping labels on. Second, well yeah, it may be a bit weird, it makes me feel more comfortable and confident knowing my breath is good. I then proceeded to get up, throw clothes on and say I was leaving. I was wicked pissed off. He tried to prevent me from leaving saying I was being dramatic, overreacting and that he was the problem. He has been blowing my phone up ever since I left. I had some choice words for him but I've told him to back off and give me space. He has ignored my request for space though. I might have overreacted by flipping out and leaving his place but his behavior came off as kind of controlling to me, especially when he physically tried to prevent me from leaving. I don't see myself as someone who needs to be fixed. I kind of want to end things but everything until this point has been amazing. Am I the a-hole for freaking out over this and refusing to talk to my boyfriend?